redactions. Thank you.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as deposition exhibit 42 to both. Amber, please describe to the jury what's depicted here.
That's a picture of my friends and I when we were at that London house that Johnny punched.
Okay. You saw him punch this?
I heard it.
Okay. All right, let's go to 723, please. Move the admission of defendant 723.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 723 redacted in evidence.
Let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in their depositions, exhibit 38 for both. Amber, please describe for the jury what's reflected.
One of the, it looks like a Magnum bottle of wine that is empty or spilled on the floor.
Can you tell where that is located?
It looks like it would be penthouse 5.
Okay. Let's go to 724. Move the admission of defendant 724.
No objection.
All right, 724 with redactions. Thank you.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon as their deposition exhibits 33. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
This is more wine that Johnny was spilling as he was using the bottle he was holding as a bat of sorts.
Let's go to 725. We're almost done, just 2 more. Promise. Move the admission of defendant 725.
No
All
objection.
right, 725 with redactions.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon as deposition exhibit 37 to their depositions. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. This looks like penthouse 5.
Okay. And the last but not least, Michelle, please, defendants 726. Move the admission of.
No objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe the jury needs a tissue.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will get a tissue. You got some? Thank you, Halisa. All right, no objection, 726 with redactions. Thank you.
All right, and let the record reflect that this one was shown to Officer Hines and Haddon as deposition 32 exhibit to their depositions. And Amber, please just describe to the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. Penthouse 3 it appears.
Okay, thank you. Now, when the police officers were there, did either of them take you aside by yourself and talk with you?
Yes.
Which one, or both?
The male officer I did not have much interaction with. The female officer said she needed to speak to me by myself, pulled me aside. We went into penthouse 3, the main penthouse, to speak there because I had been in penthouse 1, Raquel and Josh's apartment up until that moment.
Okay, and then what, if anything, did she ask you?
She asked me if I would make a statement, if I would cooperate. She kind of indicated to me, I don't remember if it was what word she said, but she kind of gestured to my face and.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I think she could, if she gesturing to her face is not hearsay, it's not a statement.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay, and it's also not offered to prove the truth of the matter.
I'll sustain the
Okay,
objection. Next one.
so what happened next? Let's do this. How long were you with the officer when she took you aside?
A few minutes, if that.
Okay. And as a result of that, did you cooperate?
No, I did not, but it was my understanding that I couldn't stop them from walking through the apartment, which is what they indicated to me.
Okay. And were you with them when they walked through the apartment?
No, Josh, I was with them at the beginning of Penthouse 3. Josh, Raquel's partner, took over from there and showed them around the house up through Penthouse 3, which connects on the top floor to the neighboring apartment, Penthouse 4, and then on to Penthouse 5. They all connect on the top level. So Josh walked the officers through the house.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you say about the identity of Mr. Depp?
Nothing.
Were you asked?
Yes.
Or you refused to tell them?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Okay. Why did you refuse to tell the police officers Mr. Depp's identity?
Because I did not want them to arrest Johnny. I did not want this to happen. I did not want any of this to happen. I didn't want to get him in trouble. So I said, well, I just refused to cooperate.
Okay. Now, approximately how long were the police officers there?
I don't recall exactly, maybe, I'd say less than half an hour. I really don't know exactly, but they weren't there very long at all.
Okay. Now, after the police officers left, what did you do?
We cleaned up a bit because there was broken glass and we had dogs. So we tried to clean up the mess, and especially the glass. And Josh, Rocky, Liz, and I, we kind of just cleaned up and eventually sat on the couch, and they just tried to comfort me.
What, if any, knowledge did you have that there was going to be a second set of officers coming later that night?
I didn't know about that. That surprised me.
When did you learn that a second set of officers were coming to the penthouse that night?
I think I learned about it when they were there, when they arrived.
Okay. And we've seen the body-worn video on that. Is there anything that you recall outside of what was reflected on Officer Gatelin's body-worn video?
I couldn't see much of what was on that video. I just, I remember being surprised that they were there, not really knowing why they were there. I assumed it was because I was encouraged to make a statement by the first set of officers.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
All right,
Just keep going forward. Okay.
And I was sitting on the couch. It was sometime hours, maybe between an hour, 2 hours, maybe more. I don't really recall, but we had cleaned up and we were resting, and they were comforting me when they came. And they didn't do it the first set of officers did. They just kind of came into the apartment, confirmed that that I was okay, or that we were okay. They didn't really seem to be that concerned, and they didn't demand to do a walkthrough like the first set of officers had, and they left.
Okay. And what, if any, cooperation did you give them?
Well, I didn't need to. I didn't really cooperate with them. I didn't talk to them. I didn't even get up off the couch. I was speaking to them from a quite a bit of a distance, like between you and I, and maybe more. And I didn't really say anything. I just kind of acknowledged that they entered, and that was it.
Did you provide them with Mr. Depp's name?
No way.
Did they ask?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take you to the next day, May 22. And I'm going to, Michelle, can you bring up Defendant's Exhibit 772? What, if any, efforts did Mr. Depp make to reach out to you the day after this happened?
Well, he made several efforts. Immediately, he kind of reached out and lashed out. Again, kind of going on what seems to be slightly delusional thinking that just because he saw all my friend's beads out on the countertop that it had become a workshop or a studio for her. So he seemed angry about, this perception that this bead display that my friend had set up was evidence of her running some sort of workshop. And he also accused us of having invited someone else to live there who wasn't living there, who was just in the apartment when Johnny stormed in. So he just kind of lashed out, and then the tone changed in the days that followed.
And let me stop you there. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at Defendant's Exhibit 772. And is this a text message from Mr. Depp to you?
Yes, it is.
And it's on 5/22 at 12:23 a.m. So it's early morning hours after 5:21. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant 772.
No objection.
All right, 772 in evidence with the identifiers redacted and published. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, and I know you started to talk about this, Amber, but it says, I'm an idiot, PH5 is Rocky's studio, you are shameless. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, was that what you were talking about with him thinking that you're...
Yes.
Okay. And then, obviously, we can read that he says, I tried to make it work. You just turned more and more into a spoiled brat. All you wanted was to make me fucking miserable. Well, I'm finally there. I'll never be able to understand how I fell in love with you. You're not her. I loved you more than anything. I did everything that I could, but you never fucking loved me. I was merely convenient for you. I hope our divorce goes as quickly as possible and that it is as painless as possible. So sorry you were as unhappy with me as you were. Obviously, the purity of whatever was has been gone for a long time. I will miss the moments of beauty and truth. Goodbye, Amber. What the fuck was I thinking? I wish you all you merit. The former him. What, if any, discussions did you have with Mr. Depp about divorce that night?
We did not have a discussion about that that evening. We didn't have time. He was obsessed with dog poop.
Okay.
That's what he wanted to talk about.
All right, let's take this down and let's go to Defendant's Exhibit 773. Now, this is a text exchange between you and Mr. Depp. It starts with Mr. Depp on 5/21 at 6:58 p.m. just saying here. Does that refresh your recollection of when he arrived at your penthouse on May 21?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next series are on 5/22. They start at 5:13. And you're discussing talking. You said, sorry, I'm just leaving Amanda's birthday now. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then he responds to that, correct?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant 773.
Your Honor, if we could just have a minute to review this exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it just this page?
No, there's
3 pages.
3 pages.
I'm just reading Michelle's hands.